Hi everyone, my name is Rachel Kaplan. I'm a licensed psychotherapist and also the creator and host of the podcast, The Healing Feeling Shitshow. Today we are going to talk about how do we become so emotionally wounded. I would guess that you and most of the people you know are living with some kind of core belief, which I would say is more of a core wound, that somehow you're not enough. You're not lovable, you're too much of this or not enough of that, that there's something wrong with you, that you're bad. And oftentimes these beliefs are very simple inside us in the sense of we started feeling their truth when we were so little. So, it can be very profoundly challenging to access and actually heal and transform these parts of us. So most of the people you know are walking around with medicated versions of that, trying to prove in some way or the other that it's not true, whether it's through success or having 10 girlfriends or looking a certain way. And today, instead of telling you in this video how you heal that wound, I just want to speak to how it comes to be. And we're gonna try to do this in about 3.5 more minutes. So think of a baby, right? Like tiny little sensitive ball of smushy, nerves and so raw, can't do anything, can't hold its head up, can't feed itself. So utter dependence, right? And utter sensitivity. And so that child, what do they need to survive? They need a loving caregiver. They need a parent, and we're just gonna call it parent even though there's all kinds of different ways that people get raised. But they need someone to love it and feed it and, keep it safe at the very least, ideally with a dry butt, dry diaper or whatever. But and because this is so vital for the species survival, for that baby's survival, that child is going to be incredibly wired to do whatever it needs to do to keep that caregiver close. Now, in the beginning, that's not much, right? Little babies have very little ability to do stuff. But let's say you realize that every time you cry for a long time, your caregiver, your parent, kind of glasses over or becomes distant. And as we become more and more grown, maybe that caregiver actually starts insulting when we express emotions or certain emotions, like little boys don't cry, or don't be a wuss, or you're fine, there's nothing to be afraid of, nothing's under your bed, what's wrong with you? I mean, there's subtle ways and non-intentionally harmful ways that parents try to shape us because, it's really hard work, parenting. But we are so wired to do and be whatever they need us to do and be so that we get the love, so that we feel the closeness, that we are going to do everything possible to be who they want us to be. And so what that means is certain aspects of us, we start pressing down and repressing and trying to act like we're not that way. We're not that sensitive. We're not afraid of the monsters under the bed. Maybe we start caretaking for the parent instead of crying because we want them to love us. We want them close, okay? So what this means is that we end up pushing the most vulnerable parts of us, generally speaking, the most sensitive parts of us, into what I like to refer to as a metaphorical basement. And not just the basement, but like a closet in the basement, like as far away from us as possible. And then we act like we're not that way. And then once we get to school, and certainly middle school and high school, we're getting even more conditioning. So we know our society is constantly telling us, be like this, but not like that, or more like that, or this is what a real man is, or a woman should act like, or blah, blah, all the things. And so there's all this pressure and conditioning, and what that leads to is this sense of, very vital parts of who we are in a repressed, unexpressed part of us. And so imposter syndrome, right? Like people meet us and they like us, but we know that we're not totally being honest, that we're hiding aspects of ourselves. And think about anything living being pushed down and hidden in a dark, dank, lightless basement closet. It's going to decay, rot, die. And so what these parts end up feeling inside of us, they feel like these little ghouls or monsters. They feel like the problem, the scapegoat, the thing that makes us unlovable. And the more we ignore them, which we, of course, do that to ourselves. We do it to ourselves, and that's what really hurts. The more we do that, the more these parts of us feel unlovable and the more wounded we become. And in the next video, I'm going to teach you how to turn toward those parts and start to connect to them, but that's basically how it happens. And it happens to most of us. So you can not feel bad or guilty if you have a whole bunch of little ghouls living in your basement. You're just a person. So see you next time.
This is the healing, feeling shit show. Are you gonna have that feeling and let it go? There is no other way to feel whole. This is the healing.